the things that we're going to be doing is we're doing the Bible is My Best Friend Family Devotional. It's a 52-week Devotions for Families by Sheila Walsh. I'll put a link and show you guys a picture here on the screen of what it is. And so each week we're going to do a Bible verse, we're going to do a story, then we're going to do a weekly challenge. And so this first week is called God Made It All. And the memory verse comes from Genesis 1:31. And so if you guys want to get a book and follow along, if not, we'll be putting on here each week and we'll do a challenge and we'll be posting how we're doing on that challenge. The memory verse from Genesis 1:31 is God saw all that he had made and it was very good. So the story, God made it all. What are the biggest things you can think of? How about the tiniest? Do you know that God... What's the biggest, Caleb? What's the biggest? You don't know? Do you know that God made all those amazing things, the big, the small, and the magnificent, the microscopic in 6 days, gigantic solar systems, tiny amoebas, and our amazing human bodies? God made it all from nothing. Read this week's memory verse, Genesis 1:31. After God made everything in just 6 days, he looked around and saw that it was very good. Everything was made by him, and he made it perfectly perfect. Now that's one powerful God. You and your family are also part of God's creation, the best parts. He put you all together to love one another and to help each other learn more about him. One way a family grows in love and near to God is by praying, worshiping, and studying the Bible together. The Bible is another wonderful thing that God created, and he used people to write the words, put it all together exactly the way he wanted it. Even though you don't know a lot about the Bible right now, by the time we're finished, you'll discover that the Bible is your very best friend. It is God's Word, his love story directly to us, and it tells us who God is, what he thinks, and the way he wants us to live. The Bible is one way that God speaks to us, and it's the perfect way for us to get to know our wonderful Creator. So here's the weekly challenge. The books of the Bible are gathered into two parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament tells us about what happened until the time when God's Son Jesus was born. And the New Testament tells us what happened after Jesus came into the world. Split up into teams and see if your team can memorize and name all the books of the Bible. You have 1 week to do it. Ready, set, go. And hint, there's 66 books, 39 in the Old Testament, 27 in the New Testament. And so what we're going to do is we're going to memorize each of them by ourselves. And we're going to see who can do it the quickest. And so I've always had trouble in the past. I'm sure it's going to be rough this go around too. And then we get a checkpoint when we complete it. So the challenge this week, read Genesis 1 through Genesis 2, 1 through 3, and then memorize all 66 books of the Bible. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with us during devotion time this week. This is the book, The Family Devotional, 52 Devotions for Families by Sheila Walsh. And we're going to go through this because one of the things that we value is going through as a family is studying biblical principles. And we're going to use a book like this to open discussion, memorize books of the Bible, and do whatever other challenges are in it. And we hope that you follow along. So stay tuned. We'll be posting the challenges, and if you do it as a family, please either film those or comment below. And on our Facebook page, you can actually post the videos of you guys completing the challenge. So we'll be doing the same. And stay tuned. Check it out.